morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the cosmos today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here today. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thank you for all of those likes, shares, comments, subscribes, every little thing that you do to help support this channel, help it to grow and reach more people, and ideally help more people. Today, before we get started with the next chapter reading from book 1 of the Raining Cedars of Russia series, Anastasia, I'm gonna pull a quick message for us from this deck. This is my first personally channeled, handwritten, self-made Neo Diviner index card deck. I'm sure you've seen these if you've watched any trashy tarot ever, but I'm one of those people that likes to try everything once, and it just felt like time, and I'm actually having a lot more fun with it than I thought I would. So I think I'm gonna make one of those giant ass ridiculous 5-foot thick stacks of index cards. Let me know how you feel about this. Freya, Folly, Michael, Mary, thank you for your blessings. Thank you for your protection. Thank you for your wisdom and your insight. Please allow me to see. Please allow me to channel a message in alignment with the greatest and highest good of this collective, balanced with that of the collective at large. Please and thank you, thank you, thank you. Please and thank you, thank you, thank you. Please and thank you, thank you, thank you. Can I get a couple more? Thank you, Spirit. I believe the next chapter that we're getting into is going to be called Across the Dark Forces Window of Time. It's been a while since I've read it, so I don't think I could give you a preview necessarily, but it sounds fun. Sounds exciting. Whoa. Okay, we got Harry, and then we got healing, exponential, triple double. So I'm just getting that whoever is tuning in today was in a Harry situation, but at this point in time, your healing is exponential, tripling, doubling, multiplying. That's a very sweet, positive message for y'all today. And how wonderful is that? I feel like it's been a little bit dark for many of these chapters, but that's because I'm tapped into a collective of people that I have a natural ability to understand pretty well, because they're as dark as me. So thank you for supporting that, connection and the existence of this art on the internet for those who it will resonate with. I really appreciate you being here. This is a very long chapter, so if you would like to grab some tea, some coffee, a knitting project, a blanket, and a stuffed animal, get cozy, whatever that looks like for you. I'm actually gonna do a 1 breath meditation before we start today too. So hand on the belly, hand on the chest. Deep breath into the belly first, ending with the chest. You can hold it at the top if you'd like. All right. Chapter 27. Across the Dark Forces Window of Time. During that night of my dreams, I thought of how to transport people across this window of time of the dark forces. My plan and conscious awareness were precise and real, and they accepted them. In the book you are going to write, there will be unobtrusive combinations, formulations made up of letters, and they will arouse in the majority of people good and radiant feelings. These feelings are capable of overcoming ailments of body and soul and will facilitate the birth of a new awareness inherent in people of the future. Believe me, Vladimir, this is not mysticism. It is in accord with the laws of the universe. It is all very simple. You will write this book guided only by feelings and your heart. You will not be able to do otherwise, since you have not mastered the technique of writing. But through your feelings, you can do anything. These feelings are already within you, both mine and yours. They are not something you are aware of just yet, but they will be understood by many. When they are embodied in signs and patterns, they will be stronger than Zoroaster's fire. Do not hide anything that has happened to you, even your most intimate experiences. Free yourself from any sense of shame and do not be afraid of appearing ridiculous. Humble your pride. I have opened my whole being to you, my body and my soul. Through you, I want to open myself to everyone. Now I am permitted to do this. Now, I am permitted to do this. I know what a terrible mass of dark forces will descend upon me. They will try to counteract my dream, but I am not afraid of them. I am stronger, and I will succeed in seeing my plan come true, and I will succeed in giving birth and raising my son, our son, Vladimir. My dream will break down many of the devices of the forces of darkness, which for millennia have been acting on people destructively, and it will cause many to work for good. I know that you find yourself unable to believe me at the moment. You are prevented from doing this by the conventions and many dogmas planted in your brain by the circumstances of existence in the world in which you live. The possibility of transport through time seems incredible to you, but your concepts of time and distance are all relative. These dimensions cannot be measured by meters or seconds, but by the degree of one's conscious awareness and will. The purity of the thoughts, feelings, and perceptions held by the majority is what determines the place of humanity in time and in the universe. You believe in horoscopes, you believe your complete dependence on the position of the planets. This belief has been attained through the aid of the devices of the dark forces. This belief is slowing down the movement of the channel of light, allowing its dark counterpart to advance and increase in size. This belief is leading you away from a conscious awareness of the truth, the essence of your earthly being. Analyze this question very carefully. Think about how God created man in his image and likeness. Man has been granted the greatest of freedoms, the freedom to choose between the darkness and the light. Man has been given a soul. The whole visible world is subject to man, and man is free even when it comes to his relationship to God, to love him or not to love him. Nobody and nothing can control man apart from his own will. God wants man's love in return for his love, but God wants the love of a free man, perfect in his likeness. God has created everything we can see, including the planets. They serve to guarantee the order and harmony of all life, not only plants and animals, they also help human flesh. But there is no way they have power over man's heart and mind. It is not they who control man, but man controls their movements through his subconscious. If a single individual wanted a second sun to flare up in the sky, it would not appear. Things are arranged this way so that planetary catastrophes do not happen. But if everybody together wanted a second sun, it would appear. In making up a horoscope, it is necessary, first of all, to take into account the basic dimensions: the level of man's temporal awareness, his strength of will and his spirit, the aspirations of his soul, and the degree to which it participates in the life of the here and now. Favorable and unfavorable astrological signs, magnetic storms, high and low pressure, these are all subject to will and conscious awareness. Have you never seen a happy and joyful person on a cloudy or stormy day? Or on the other hand, a sad and depressed person on a sunny day with a most favorable astrological prediction? You think that I am simply indulging in a crazy person's fantasy when I say the patterns and formulations of letters I shall put in the book will heal people and enlighten them. You do not believe me because you do not understand. And yet, in fact, it is so simple. You see, right now, I am talking to you in your language, using your speech idioms, and even try sometimes to speak with your voice inflections. It will be easy for you to memorize what I say because this is your language belonging exclusively to you, although understandable to many people. It contains no incomprehensible words or obscure idioms. It is simple and therefore understandable to the majority. But there are certain words or word orders which I have changed, just a little, but only a little. Right now, you are in an excited state, and therefore, whenever you recall this state, you will recall everything I have told you. And you will write down what I have said. And that is how my combinations of letters will fall into place in your book. These combinations are very important. They can do wonders, just like prayer. After all, many of you already know that prayers are specific combinations and specific patterns of letters. These combinations and patterns are strung together with God's help by people who have had an illuminating experience. The forces of darkness have always tried to deprive man of the opportunity of drawing upon the grace emanating from these combinations. To this end, they have changed the language, introduced new words, and removed old ones, and distorted the meaning of words. At one time, for example, there were 47 letters in your language. Now there remain 33 alone. The forces of darkness have imported other combinations and fashions of their own, stirring up base and dark elements, attempting to lead man astray by fleshly lusts and passions. But I have restored the original purity of combinations, using only the letters and symbols in use today, and they will now be effective. I tried so hard to find them, and I did. I have brought together all the best from different times. I collected a good many and have hidden them in the lines that you will write. As you can see, they are simply a translation of the combinations of signs from the depth of eternity and infinity of the universe, exact in sense, meaning, and purpose. Write about everything you have seen, hold back nothing, neither the bad nor the good, nor even the intimate or absurd, and then they will be preserved. You yourself will be convinced of this. Please believe me, Vladimir. You will become convinced once it is written down. In many who read what has been written, feelings and emotions will be found which they are not yet able to fully understand or are not fully aware of. They will confirm this for you. You will see and hear it confirmed, and radiant feelings will appear in them. And then many will themselves understand, through the help of these feelings, a great deal more than what is written by your hand. Try writing at least a little. When you are convinced that people feel these combinations, when a dozen or 100 or 1,000 people confirm it for you, you will then believe and write down everything. Only believe. Believe in yourself. Believe in me. Later, I can tell you things even more significant, and people will understand and feel them too. I am talking about the raising of children. You were interested to know about flying saucers and mechanical objects, rockets, and planets. But I so wanted to tell you more about the raising of children, and I shall do so. I shall explain it when I instill in you a greater sense of conscious awareness. However, all this needs to be read when there is no interference from sounds of manufactured artificial devices around. Such sounds are harmful and lead man away from the truth. Let only the sounds of the God-created natural world be heard. They carry within them truthful information and grace and increase one's conscious awareness. Then the healing effect will be significantly more powerful. Once again, of course, you have your doubts when you think of me, and do not believe in the healing powers of the word. But there is no mysticism here, no mere fantasy or contradiction of the laws of spiritual being. When these radiant feelings appear in man, they cannot help but exert a beneficial influence on literally every organ of his body. It is these radiant feelings that are the most powerful and effective remedy against any kind of bodily complaint. God has healed through the help of such feelings, as have prophets and saints. Read the Old Testament and see for yourself. Certain people in your world, too, are healing through the help of these feelings. Many of your doctors know about this. Ask them if you do not believe me. After all, it is easier for you to believe them. The stronger and brighter the feeling, the greater effect it has on the person it is directed to. I have always been able to heal with my ray. Great-grandfather taught me and explained everything when I was still a child. I have done this many times with my dachniks. Now my ray is many times more powerful than grandfathers and great-grandfathers. That is because they say, there has arisen in me another feeling, the one called love. This feeling is so great, so pleasant, and a little fiery too. I want to share it with everyone, and with you. As for me, I want good for everyone and everything, just as God wanted. Anastasia spoke her monologue with extraordinary inspiration and confidence, as though aiming it across space and time, and then she fell silent. I looked at Anastasia, amazed by her uncharacteristic fervor and confidence, and then asked, Anastasia, is that it? Are there no further nuances in your plans or dreams? The rest, Vladimir, is just trifles, nothing of great significance. I merely included them, little things as simple as ABC. As I was formulating the plan, there was just one sticking point concerning you, but I managed to resolve it. Well, I need a bit more detail here. What kind of sticking point was it that concerned me? You see, I made you into the richest person on the earth, and I also made you the most famous. This will happen by and by, but when the details of my dream unfolded, as yet it had not taken off, so to speak. It had not yet been taken up by the forces of light. The forces of darkness, they are always trying to inject their own harmful input, like all sorts of side effects, exerting a destructive influence on the person at the center of the dream and on other people too. My thoughts were dashing along ever so quickly, but the forces of darkness were still keeping pace. They had left many of their other earthly affairs in their attempt to concentrate their devices on my dream. But then I came up with something. I outwitted them, and I caused all their devices to turn about and work for the good. The forces of darkness lost their bearings for less than a split second, but that was enough for my dream to be snatched up by the forces of light and transported into radiant infinity, well beyond their sight and reach. And just what did you come up with, Anastasia? Unexpectedly for them, I extended, just by a little, the dark forces window of time. The time you will need to meet the various challenges. And in doing so, I deprived myself of the possibility of using my ray to help you. They were confounded, failing to see any logic on my part. But during this moment, I very quickly shone my light on people who will be in touch with you in the future. And what does this all mean? People will help you, will help realize my dream. They will do this with little rays of their own, which will be almost uncontrollable. But there will be a lot of them, and together you will make the dream come true in physical reality. You will be carried across the dark forces window of time, and you will carry others with you. And becoming rich and famous will not make you greedy or arrogant, because you will understand that money is not the point. It will never buy you the warmth or the genuine compassion of the human soul. You will understand this when you make your way across that window of time, when you see and get to know these people, and they too will understand. As for the deep knee bends, this kind of relationship with the banks is something I also thought up because you are altogether negligent in taking care of your body. But this way, at least, you will be getting some exercise whenever you withdraw money from your account. Some of the bank officials will do it besides. And never mind if it looks a little funny. It means you will find yourself free from the sin of pride. So it has turned out that all these challenges and trials which the forces of darkness have concocted in their window of time will serve to strengthen you and those around you. All this will increase your sense of conscious awareness, and it will ultimately save you from the dark temptations they are so proud of. Their own actions will save you. This is why they lost their bearings for a split second. Now they will never be able to catch up to my dream. 22:22 on the clock. Anastasia, my dear precious dreamer, my fantasy maker. Oh, how good of you to say that. Thank you, thank you. It was so good of you to say, my dear. You're welcome. But you see, I also called you a fantasy maker, a dreamer. You're not offended? Not at all. You do not yet know how accurately my dreams always come true when they turn out so clearly and in such detail. This one will come true without fail. It is my favorite dream, the clearest of them all. And the book you write will come into being, and people will start having extraordinary feelings. And these feelings will call people. Wait, Anastasia, you're getting carried away again. Calm down. Only a short time had gone by since my interruption of Anastasia's fervent stream of speech, which seemed indeed but a fantasy. I couldn't quite grasp the significance behind this monologue of hers. Everything she said sounded too fantastic. Only a year later, Mikhail Firinin, editor of the magazine Wonders and Adventures, after my reading the manuscript containing this monologue, excitedly handed me the latest issue of his magazine, the issue of May 1996, Chudesa I Priključenja. The contents of the magazine overwhelmed me with excitement. Two major scholars, both academicians, Anatoly Akimov and Vladimir Kaznachev, talked in their articles about the existence of a supreme mind, the close interrelationship of man and the universe, as well as about certain rays invisible to normal sight emanating from man. Scientists have now been able to identify them with special equipment, and the magazines included 2 photographs of these rays emanating from people. But science has only begun to talk about what Anastasia has not only known from childhood, but has been applying in her daily life, in her endeavors to help others. How was I to know a year earlier that this girl standing before me in an old skirt, the only one she possessed, and uncomfortable looking galoshes, nervously picking at the buttons on her cardigan, this girl named Anastasia actually possessed a vast store of knowledge as well as the ability to influence human destinies? Or that the pulse beats of her soul are in fact capable of counteracting the dark and destructive forces threatening mankind? Or that the well-known Russian healer Vladimir Mironov would tell a gathering of his assistants that we are all ants compared to her, adding that the world has not yet known a power greater than hers, and regretting that even after spending such a long time with her, I had still not understood her. Many people were to feel the energy of a tremendous power emanating from the book. Following the first small-scale printing of this book, for which I have to give credit to Anastasia herself as one author, would come a sprinkling of verses in abundance, washing away dirt like a spring rain. Now, dear reader, this is the very book which you are holding in your hands, which you are reading at this moment. Whatever feelings it is arousing in your heart is for you alone to judge. What do you feel? What is it calling upon you to do? Staying there alone in her glade in the taiga, Anastasia will use her ray of goodness to eliminate any barriers standing in the way of her dream. And she will gather and inspire more and more people to make her dream come true. And so, at my challenging moment, 3 Moscow students will come to my side and stand by me. They will not receive any significant compensation for their efforts and will even end up helping me financially, earning their living wherever they can, especially Lyosha Novichkov, which spent nights keyboarding the Anastasia text into their computers. They will not cease their keyboarding work even after their difficult examination session begins. And Moscow Print Shop number 11 will put out a 2,000 copy print run. They'll do this on their own, bypassing a publishing house. But even before this, the journalist Evgenia Vitko of the agricultural paper Krestiansky Vedomosti will be the first to tell about Anastasia in the press. Later, Katya Golovina from Moskovskaya Pravda, and then Lesnaya Gazeta, Mir Novosti, and Radio Rossiya. The magazine Chudesa I Priklyu Wonders and Adventures, which publishes articles by the brightest lights of Russian academia, will throw tradition to the wind and devote several issues to Anastasia, explaining, in their boldest dreams, our academics come nowhere near the insights of Anastasia, the wise woman of the Siberian taiga. Purity of thought makes man omnipotent and omniscient. Man is the apex of creation.
Anastasia will be published only by the major press outlets in Moscow. Anastasia herself seems to have made that choice in preference to the tabloids and a careful effort to preserve the purity of her dream. But none of this became clear to me until a year after my visit with her. Not understanding her at the time and not fully believing, I had my own take on the experience and tried to shift the conversation to a topic I was more familiar with, namely entrepreneurs.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day. I think tomorrow or the next time we get together, it's going to be the second to last chapter. And it's going to be called Strong People. All right. I'm going to walk around the table so I don't light my hair on fire. I'll see you next time.